So, first of all, Scott, let me introduce myself for you. My name is Payara. I'm from Brazil, and the name of the website that I'm here representing is Big Rock and Roll.
Right on. Nice to meet you, Myra.
Nice to meet you. My first question is how would you describe this moment for Fallujah, first of all, and with Xenotaph that is coming soon? And how is the mood in the band right now?
How would I describe this moment? I think we're just super excited. We're very proud of this new album, and this is a second album of a new lineup that we kind of formed after the COVID pandemic. I've been in the band since the very beginning. I wrote most of the records before the pandemic. I think we had four records out, and then the fifth record, Kyle and I worked on and put out for I think that came out 2022. And then this record, this is kind of a step up from that record, and it includes the full lineup: Kyle, I, and Sam, and Kevin. We were able to all work on it, and I don't know, it just went really well. And I think the songs came out in a super collaborative kind of way, and the material. I mean, we aimed to make this a shorter album that was very dense and had lots of ideas over a short period of time, and it just came out better than we expected, and everything kind of is coming together in a really cool way. I think Kyle, the singer, his performance was beyond our expectations, and even from the album art came out awesome. All the songs came out cool, and then now that we're at a point where we have two of the singles out, and we no longer have to wait to see the reception of our fans and people outside of our fan base. It seems like people are reacting really positively to the new singles. They seem really excited. So for us, we're relieved and just excited. We just can't wait to get it out and play shows and play these songs live. Yeah, it's been a really good time, because before the music comes out, you're always a little bit anxious to hear the response. Mostly, the riffs. I'm assuming people will like them, but people always have something to say about the vocals or the direction of the album, and it seems like people are really stoked. So yeah, I'm just excited, enjoying my time.
I read that you said that Xenotaph is more technical, dynamic, and progressive album. So, what were the biggest challenges in making something so ambitious for you?
I mean, our original goal before we started this album was like, let's make something that is more embellished, is dense, and the original idea is for it to be a shorter album, and I think it only has 8 songs on it, where normally we have albums that have like 12 songs. But even then, it still came out to be like the average length of most of our albums. It's like a little bit under 45 minutes, even with 8 songs. So a lot of the songs are long. And I guess the most challenging part is like, how can you make something that has a lot of detail with it still sounding elegant and having motifs that repeat throughout the music, so each song feels like its own thing, its own sound, and the listener can digest it and remember it. So that was the biggest challenge, because we were really ambitious with all the ideas we wanted to try. There's a lot of stuff with music theory we want to try. We wanted to have a lot of key changes. We wanted to have a lot of tempo changes. We wanted to use ideas that we learned from the music that we grew up on, like Necrophagist and the Faceless and Spawn of Possessions. And these bands are super technical, super death metal, and we're more of a atmospheric prog band. You know what I mean? We have singing, and it's not as death metal as those bands, but how do we take concepts from that and then incorporate it in the music and have it translate in a way to where it sounds elegant and musical? And I think luckily it went really well, and I think that has to do with the fact that we spent a lot of time as a group working on it together. Where normally I would work on music alone, and it would be very introspective, and I'd have to figure out if I like it or I don't like it, or if it's the right direction. But the fact that we did it in a group, we could rely on each other to kind of, is this the way we want to go? And we would give each other feedback, and we were able to move fast and complete songs quickly, and because of that, we were able to go back and make the songs even more creative and kind of organize them in a better way. So yeah, it went really well. Though it was an ambitious idea, and the songs are 100% more complicated than the ones before. Simply just trying to learn them. I had to learn them for the music videos, and I learned them to play on Twitch. The songs are just way harder in general than the other songs. So it's like, from a technical aspect, they are definitely way more complex. But yeah, they came out really cool, and it was a really enjoyable process, where the album before was a little bit more tedious. I spent a long time during the pandemic making those songs. This time it was just it was a lot of work, but it was enjoyable, and it was smooth. So that's my experience with it.
Story about life after death, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can you tell more about it?
I mean, I can only say so much as the person who focuses more on the music. I wasn't the person who works intensely on the lyrics. I'm always focused more on the music and making sure the music matches the lyrics. But yeah, essentially Kyle has this story that even has to do with the cover and the character on the cover, but essentially it tells it tells a story from the perspective of a character who you're kind of with them on their journey after they die, and they meet this angel, and this angel takes them on a journey. And each song in the record kind of goes through a stage of this journey, and the music, the mood of the music matches the stage. Sorry, my throat is really dry for some reason. This is actually the first interview today, so this is the first time I'm speaking. But yeah, like the first song, it's very euphoric. It starts off in a very kind of a light way. It's kind of like it's almost got more major sounds to it. It's happier, and like, the best word to say is euphoric, because this is the beginning of the journey. It goes through stages of the ego dying, and you kind of fly. He's like flying through outer space and kind of leaving his body. But as the journey continues, it kind of takes a turn, and the character kind of realizes that they are not being guided by an angel, but they're actually being kind of hunted by like a dimensional predator. So it kind of changes the vibe of the song. And like I said, I'm not the lyric guy. I can't go too much into the story, but musically, I made sure that as the journey gets darker and changes, I tried to make the music match with that. We as a group tried to make the music so it, instead of being euphoric, it starts to get a little bit more dissonant and darker, and kind of like an anxiety kind of feeling towards it. And then the end of the journey, there is a resolution, and we tried to make the music resolve in that same way. It feels like you kind of came back from a journey or whatever. So yeah, it's a concept album, and it follows, you go through the perspective of a journey of a character, and it's interacting with this being, which is the cover of the album. And yeah, it has a whole story to it. And the music, I feel like we did a really good job with matching the music to the story. So each song is very important to that journey. So it's also made it really hard to figure out which songs to release as a single, because one song didn't really represent the whole album, because they're all part of they're all pieces to a whole.
And about the single, why did you choose this one? For example, right now we have just one single from the new album, right? The
We have two
Kaleidoscope.
singles. Two singles. So the first one that we picked was Kaleidoscopic Waves. The second one came out a few weeks ago. That's Labyrinth of Stone. And yeah, Kaleidoscopic Waves is the second song off the album. So it kind of shows you the more euphoric beginning of the journey. And like I said earlier, it's hard to find a song that represents the album, just because each piece is really important to the whole, and they all have kind of different perspectives of the journey or whatever. But just from a showing, giving a first peek into the album, we thought it was a good choice, because it shows a lot of the guitar work. It shows a lot of the dynamics of Kyle's vocals. It shows his brutal vocals, but also his singing, and he's very dynamic with the singing. He has soft singing, he has more kind of triumphant singing, he has like brutal vocals, high vocals. So it really presents Kyle in a really awesome way. It shows a lot of the cool guitar work and drum work that's going on the album. And it also shows it in a small package. You know, it's I think the what is it? It's like under 4 minutes or something like that. Where a lot of the songs are about 7 minutes. You know, so we didn't think it was a good idea to put one of those really long songs out as a first single, just because the nature of people's attention spans. You know, we wanted people to be able to hear it and digest it and repeat it, and we thought that was a good idea to do that first, and then the next song after that, it's a lot longer. It's almost 6 minutes or whatever. We thought, okay, if they are into it now, they should be able to pay attention to a longer song. So yeah, that was the idea behind that.
Music video looks very immersive and surreal. What was the idea behind the visuals for the music video?
It That song, that kaleidoscopic waves, it is the beginning of the journey. It's kind of as the character is leaving their body and journeying off, beginning their journey. And we wanted a very almost kind of like 2001 A Space Odyssey as he's going through the portal. There's lots of multicolors. It's kind of like flying through space. And that was kind of the main focus. It was a lot of influence from sci-fi videos. Like, there's parts where people are I think there's like a scene where I'm in a room and you can see kind of like watery reflection all over the walls. That was kind of like an influence from Blade Runner 2049. And there's images of Kyle while he's singing, and the colors are going multicolor on his face. It's like kind of him going through the portal, and that was a big influence from 2001: A Space Odyssey. And then just lots of colors. The song Kaleidoscopic Waves, it makes you think of a multicolored kind of psychedelic journey. So that was kind of the idea, like a sci-fi kind of psychedelic kind of vibe to it. So once we had that idea, we just worked with our director and just tried to put together as many cool ideas and effects. And we tried to use a lot of practical effects, not so many not like a bunch of like digital effects or whatever. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was cool. I think our director Malcolm Pugh, he did a really good job with that. Came out really cool.
And it's now closer to your like old version, the original one, or are you still exploring new ways to express yourselves?
I think I just rely on the people in the band. Like, I'm the only original member from that original lineup, and though I had a really big part in writing that music, I think luckily because of that, I think there's always going to be an original soul to the music. These are always been the same chord progressions and kind of riffs and ideas that I've always kind of relied on to create music and create ideas. But now that I have people like Sam and Kyle and we collaborate, all I have to do is just rely on their ideas, and they'll take the band in a new direction. Like I said, Kyle, I think he's uh, incredibly talented and incredibly creative. Like, he's already a guy that's pretty prolific before he was even in the band. He has a whole bunch of music that he's written. He's very good with writing music, and his we just let him do what he wanted with the vocals, and he really cares. That he was a fan of the band before he was in the band, so he really cares about the direction of the band from a fan point. So he's always really concerned with the feelings that he gives off when he does it, but he also makes sure that he puts his own style and his own voice into it. So all I have to do is do me and let him do him, and it'll take the band further. And then the same exact thing with Sam. Sam has his own style and his own way of thinking about music and the feelings he likes to convey. So all we have to do is just add that into the pot, and it brings a new sound to the already original kind of soul of the band. So it was really easy for me. It's not something I had to think too hard and toil over. I just I think if I just do what's natural to me, it'll sound like the band, and then all I have to do is include the others and collaborate with them, and it'll just take it in an awesome new direction. And that's like exactly what happened.
And about the concerts, Fallujah is known for intensive shows. So how are you preparing to bring these new songs to the stage? Do you
I
think
mean,
that is there a song you are most excited to play live?
the songs I'm excited to play live. I think I'm excited to play Labyrinth of Stone just because of the technicality of it. I'm a guitar player, so I always think of it from a guitar point of view, and I just think that has some of the coolest riffs. It's very kind of representative of my influences, of the Faceless and Necrophagist and that very tech sound, but also it's very colorful musically. And as far as preparing for it, we've been I've been touring since I was 18. I'm 33 now, so about 15 years of touring. It's just now second nature to me. Lots of practicing, lots of I just have to be myself and make sure that I put in the work to rehearse, and also we as a band put in the work because it is very physical to play the songs. So it's all about making sure that our skills are up to par. So yeah, I think we'll be fine. We have toured as a group already numerous years now, which is really cool. It's not like we're starting from scratch. These guys have been on the road with me, and we work really well as a unit. So yeah, we just gotta let it happen.
Hope for shows here in Brazil or South America.
Yeah, we've been working on it. So it's one of my that's top of my list to go to Brazil. I would love to see Brazil. I would love to see a lot of parts of South America. So yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, hopefully people like you and people listening make sure to spread the word of Fallujah, and that'll improve our chances of being there.
Expecting you here because I know a lot of friends that really listen Fallujah. So it will be very nice if you come.
I would love to. Really, it is the top of my list. I would love to go to. I want to see the people, the culture, the food, and play shows there. I've never been there. We've never been there as a band, and we've traveled a lot of places internationally, and we've never gone there. So I'm hoping we can make that happen. Hopefully, with
It
this
will be
album.
very Yes, it will be very nice to see Xenotaph live here in Brazil.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
And what bands or artists are your inspiration? Like actually,
Like musically or just all around, maybe.
musically.
Of all over the place, like I think I mentioned already. Um, Earlier that this particular album, it was influenced by like tech deaths. Like other albums maybe were more inspired by like atmospheric black metal and electronic music, where this one was definitely more about uh I mean, I pulled influence from some of my favorite tech death albums by like Psychroptic, Faceless, Necrophagus, Spawn of Possession, Deeds of Flesh. But I know the vocals. There was a lot of inspiration from Opeth and Dimmu Borgir, and a lot that's like Kyle's influences. We all kind of brought our own influences, and just we use whatever we can to inspire us. And on top of that, I pull a lot from just the media I consume. I really love like anime and Miyazaki movies, and I also love sci-fi movies like Interstellar and Dune and Blade Runner, like I mentioned, and 2001: A Space Odyssey. So it's kind of like a mixture of all those feelings, and it's really cool because we're not just saying that. Like I think those influences come through. Like even in Labyrinth of Stone, you could hear sections that kind of remind you of a Studio Ghibli soundtrack. There's sections that remind you of maybe Opeth or maybe a Tech Death album, and I think we were able to blend those feelings in a really cool way that makes its own thing, which is awesome for me. That's what, as a person who makes music, that's the most fun for me because it's like I'm not a fan of the band. I'm in the band, so to be able to kind of like pay homage to some of my favorite things, like like Studio Ghibli movies and sci-fi movies, and to feel the feelings that I get from those movies in the music, it makes the music special to me. It's like, oh, cool. I was really able to kind of put that energy into the music and use it as an influence and see it kind of seep out when I'm listening to it. That's what makes the music special. So and it's satisfying to write the music.
Said about Opeth, and 1 week ago I was in an Opeth show here in Brazil.
Oh,
They made
nice.
two on Monsters of Rock and another one like just Opeth and Sabotage, and it was 1 week ago, like in the last Monday.
Was
So
that a
nice
good?
to see
You enjoyed
live.
it?
Yeah, a lot. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
they're such a good band. Yeah, and it's so inspiring just to see people that not only continue to make music, but they do what they feel is right for them at the time. They don't, they care about their fans, but they're not dictated by their fans. It's like they are creative people, and they have ideas, and they go in whatever direction they want to, despite what people think. I love that. I love how the new music has brought back the growls. I love how the music before that didn't have growls. I love that. I personally, it's inspiring for me as someone who makes music to be like, to trust, what you want to do.
If you had to describe the new album Xenotaph with one word or one feeling, so what would it be? One word
Um,
or one feeling?
one feeling, one word. That's difficult, but I would say immersive, maybe, just because there's so much detail and it takes you on a journey that it really, for me, I mean, the idea is to pull you in and keep you there. And it's like I was saying earlier, it's got a lot of influence from sci-fi and Studio Ghibli and anime and like all those kind of all that stuff I love. It's like once you're in it, they hold you in there, and there's so much detail when you're looking around that you really feel like you're in a world, and that's with the fact that it's a concept album and there's a whole story that you're in and the music matching that concept, and there's so much detail to where I don't even think you can really understand the album without listening to it multiple times. You just kind of feel like you're in this world. It's almost like a video game when you enter one of those really intense video games and there's just so much detail. All you can do is just kind of enjoy the journey, and pick up as much detail as you can. So I think yeah, I would say immersive would be the one word I would choose. That's a cool question. Yeah, that's kind of hard to answer, but yeah.
The last one, what message would you like to share to your fans all around the world who are excited for this new album and for this new era of Fallujah?
I would just say to enjoy the music. We put a lot of work into it, but we also had a lot of fun doing it. We're really proud of the music, and I think it's some of the best music the band has put out yet. And I think somehow everything kind of came together in a really magical way. Like I've been doing a lot of records. This is my sixth album with the band, and some records come out you can't really, it's such a long process to make music, and you invest a lot of time, and then you have to kind of tediously create invest the time into creating the ideas that you focused on a year ago. And something about this album just came out really magical. The whole band as a whole worked together, and I think it came out to be a special album. And I could just, after doing multiple albums, some of them are, I mean, I love them all, but some come out to be a little bit more magical than others. And I think this is one of those albums when it comes to the lyrics, the album art, the music, the flow of the album. It just came out in such a cool way. And no, no matter what people say or if they enjoy it or not, this one to me is a very special one. But I could already tell that from the singles, people are already noticing that. So yeah, just hope you enjoy it and listen to it a bunch of times because there's lots of details and yeah, it should take you on a journey.
And thank you so much, Scott. Thank you, Marcos, for the opportunity.
Yeah, no
And
problem.
I'm
Thank you.
so excited to finally listen the album, and we hope that you can come to Brazil.
Me too. Yeah, thank you for doing the interview. It was nice to meet you, and yeah, I really hope I can come to Brazil soon as well. Yeah, thank you for doing this.